My name is Alcy. This is a video yin sequence for preparing you to sleep. Sleepy time. Just to give you the heads up, you're going to need a couple books or a block at one point towards the end of the sequence. It's going to help quite a bit. And I would recommend 1 to 2 pillows of varying sizes and thicknesses. I like to have one that's a little more sturdy, and then I usually have one that's a little bit more foldable and flexible, adjustable. So just a heads up on props. Couple pillows, couple books, or a block should be plenty to get into this class and do this sequence in your body. So hopefully if you're tuning in, you're trying to wind down, trying to get your mind slow and relaxed enough so that your body and your mind together can enter a state of deep relaxation and really prepare for deep rest, deep sleep. So in order to do this, I want to just start off with a couple spinal twists. You can go ahead and extend your right leg, bend your left knee. I've got my phone here just as a timer to keep track. And I'll be using my singing bowl in between poses to let you know when to leave the shape. So starting with your right leg extended, your left knee bent. I'll go ahead and turn so I can still see you. You can either hold on to your left knee or snake your right arm on the opposite side of it, the outside of your leg. It's up to you. If you want to, you can even breathe and inhale into your left arm, your left side, getting a little longer. And then on an exhale, go ahead and turn that side open behind you. Just going to be here for 2 minutes. Twists have a pretty neutralizing effect on the body and the system. So giving yourself a chance to move into this really as your body is meant to. No need to pull or twist deeper. Just notice how each breath tells a story. A quote of a dear friend of mine come to mind right now. It's that life is more complicated from afar. Just a reference to, we can think about doing yoga, we can say in our mind, I'm going to practice, I got to practice, I really need this. But once you're in it, once you're in your practice, being in your body, breathing with yourself, let yourself just be witness to the simplicity of the present. Process of breathing in and letting the breath pour out. A couple more breaths here. Releasing that front knee, maybe even letting the left knee open to the left. You can bring both hands behind you for a moment. Maybe the chin drops towards the chest. Maybe your nose gently rises up. If this motion felt good, you can find it a few more times. Or there might be something else that's just feeling good and juicy in this moment. Go ahead and just move towards the other side as you're ready, extending the left leg, bending the right knee. Taking your right knee with your left arm, or even hooking the left arm on the outside of the knee, finding a little bit of length through the spine, but really softening through that right shoulder. Maybe you even breathe yourself up. And then exhale, go ahead and stretch that right arm back and down, connecting to the earth with your palm, your fingertips, whatever feels best for you. Using that wisdom, life is more complicated from afar. Now that you're in it, now Now that you're in your practice, in your body, what preconceived notions can you let go of here? When you let go of those ideas, those judgments that you might make in your mind before you practice or during your practice, saying, I'm not flexible, or my shoulders are really messed up lately, or whatever it is. When you drop what you think is true, you make space for what is actually true. Really move into that space of truth, that space of present moment with your breath. We'll take about another minute here. Not forcing, just being, just breathing with yourself. Take your time unwinding. Maybe the right knee comes down. You're welcome to extend both legs here if you like. Legs can stay straight, or your knees might bend a little bit with the hands behind you. Go ahead and windshield wiper the legs from one side to the other. Maybe as the knees go in one direction, your gaze goes in the opposite direction. Really slow, really gentle. No forcing or pushing the body. Just being with what is. And coming back up onto your sit bones. You might even rock your hips, pick up your seat, and kind of move your butt back a little bit so you're sitting more on your sit bones. Taking your feet together or extending your legs all the way out to the side, really anywhere in between those two positions. We're just going to do a little foot massage here. Oh yeah, so it would be helpful to have your knees bent to start. Start with the knees bent and just using your thumb on the insides of your feet, the soles, the arches. Massage up and down, and even give your heel a little squeeze. Each of your heels giving a little love to the inner arches. Maybe you can orient your feet in a way that you can massage and give the toes a squeeze, massage the outer arches a little bit. Depending on what your life has been like in the past month, you may or may not have experienced a change in the amount of time you spend on your feet, but either way, I think we can agree that the feet don't get as much credit as they deserve. Maybe a couple broad strokes from the heel up to the ball of the foot, just along the inner arch. Any other love, any other attention you want to give to your feet, your ankles. And then we're going to move into that forward fold in our either butterfly or a dragonfly pose, as we call it. And you can really take this anywhere in between those two. I'm just kind of showing you the variation here. So anywhere from feet together to feet all the way apart. I want you to go for some sort of inner thigh, some sort of groin or hamstring stretch, and some sort of feeling of space across the back of the spine. It might be more lower back, might be more upper back, shoulders, neck area. You're welcome to bring some props in if you feel like that would feel nice for you here. And if it helps you create space in the low back, walking your seat back, growing your heart forward with an inhale, and then softening into your forward folding shape as you exhale. This one's going to be a little longer, a couple minutes more than the last. If you're still getting comfortable, you can always pause this video and hit play when you're ready. Otherwise, if you have to move throughout this shape, just know that you can. You're not tied to any of the choices that you make at any point. Try and get as comfortable as you can while also feeling some sensation in the areas I outlined, in the inner thighs, maybe hamstrings, inner hips, somewhere across the back, the spine. Let yourself move into it over time. Really let time do its work on the body here. Just about at that halfway point. I'm personally realizing that I was a little advantageous bringing my feet that far forward, so I'm readjusting so that I no longer am feeling any pain in my knees. That's always welcome. You're always welcome to adjust. As I said, really try and keep yourself in a place where you're feeling sensation, you're feeling the shape, but you're not inviting pain into any of the joints. Shouldn't be forcing these poses at all. Especially with the intention of getting ready to go to sleep and trying to bring yourself into a relaxed state. Really important to be kind to the body and really respect the signals and honor the inner dialogue that you receive from the body. Relax any outstanding effort, anything that might be holding on in the body. Let yourself melt into it. A couple more moments here. Take your time as you're ready, using your arms if you need to here to slowly draw the shoulders back over the hips. And then to really let that one sink in, really let the effects of that pose take shape and have their moment in the body. I just want you to lie down as gently as you can. Relaxing from your hips all the way down to your legs. If it would feel better for any reason in the back here, you can always plant your feet and let your knees knock together. Finding stillness as gently and as quickly as you can, just to really soak up and soak in the effects of that shape, the ripple effects of folding in the spine and throughout the body. Stay observant of all the subtleties, all of the tiny little shifts. Sometimes when we're in the whirlwind of our day, we really miss the in-between moments, the tiny little shifts that occur every moment from moment to moment. Let this be a practice of winding down by way of tuning in. Being attentive to yourself, being slow with yourself. Observe what you see with eyes closed. And if eyes are open, observe what you might be observing with eyes open. See if that sense is bringing you deeper into your experience, if it's helping you tune in more, or if you're being drawn outside your body. If it helps to close your eyes, give it a try. Taking just a few more breaths here on your back, tuning in, getting present to what is so. As you're ready, just bending your knees if you need to, and just letting your knees roll to one side. We're going to move on to the side body now for a couple moments. Preparing to press back up into all fours. The next poses we're going to do are going to be stretches for our glutes. So from tabletop, you can just bring your, start with left knee. Let's bring the left knee forward. I like to show this side on me because it's my funny side. I have to do some funny things, and I just want everyone to know that your swan or your pigeon pose does not need to look like the cover of Yoga Journal. You can really take your time and move into it and experiment, play with what is going on and what you're finding in your body. Really being kind to yourself as you prepare for sleep. So you can start with your knee forward, more out to the left, or you can bring it more towards the center. It's going to depend on your body and on your muscles. Same thing with the left ankle. You might bring it a little more forward. Some people, when they do that, it feels really good. They get a really nice glute stretch in the left outer hip, or the left sit muscle, if you will, the biggest muscle on your butt that you sit on. But for me especially, I'm feeling like I need to keep my knee a little bit more closed. That gives me a little bit more comfort in the joint of my knee. And then instead of extending my leg long behind me for this side, I find it really helpful to find what we call deer variation. So just giving you this option that if extending that back legs feels good here, really is in alignment with the body and what you're going through right now, great. If bending that back knee feels good as well, do that. Try it out today. I'm going to bring in a little bit of a pillow for myself. And instead of going forward, I'm going to go a little bit to the right here. So just kind of keeping you open in terms of options and possibilities here. We're going to do 3 minutes in this posture. If you're still kind of wiggling into it, trying some things out, again, feel free to hit pause or just use this time to explore. Sometimes the time that we have in a yin posture is meant to be exploratory. You're meant to try different things sometimes. So be open to what's coming up. Be open to the stillness that those possibilities, those options might create. Use this shape to get into the body. Drop out of your head and let yourself really experience being present in the body. Just over that halfway point, maybe you're feeling good. Maybe you're able to widen your elbows, sink a little lower. Maybe you're all the way to the floor, realizing that you went a little too far. Feel free to come back. You can stay propped up on your elbows or your forearms here, the whole shape if you like. When you feel called to, begin to lift your body out of this shape. A lot of different ways to leave this shape. You can move back into a tabletop or a child's pose. I like to roll onto the butt of whatever hip is forward and just swing that back leg around. Woo, nice and slow. I like to release that front knee and just let my body lean back. But again, you might be following a different path to the same place. Whether you're in a tabletop, child's pose, maybe you're sitting like me, maybe you're on your belly, lying flat on the floor. Ooh, let yourself be still or let yourself move. Really go with the feeling within. Trust. If you need to move, you move. If you can be still, be still. Start to take this back forward through a tabletop. If you're in your seat like me, you can simply cross your ankles and come back through. This time, right knee forward. Left leg is going to start to travel back. This is a very different shape, very different feeling for me on this side, so I'm going to set it up. Similar props, but very different setup in my hips. Notice what's working for you right here, what differences you might already be sensing in the hips, in the back, in your knees, and your ankles. So many different parts of the body to pay attention to and really honor here. So take your time getting set up. Sometimes I've seen people, and I get this from time to time, where they like to keep that the back toes tucked. Sometimes if they release the top of the back foot, that's either uncomfortable on the ankle or maybe it's too much pressure on the knee. One way to resolve that would be kind of just eyeball, look at the floor underneath your ankle, place a little pillow right in that space on the floor, and then come back, and now you've got a little bit of a support underneath the ankle, so you can relax the knee, or maybe it's the ankle is not flexing as much. Take the support you need. We'll do 3 minutes here. When we settle our energy from the energy needed to really be active in our day, right? Ideally, throughout a day, all of our chakras are activated, all of our energy centers are going, are moving, are jiving. And then towards the end of the day, I really like to encourage kind of revisiting each energy in order. Letting yourself settle back down. And in a way, we've done it a little out of order today, but in a way we're doing that. We did our twist to visit the fire energy in the solar plexus, kind of neutralize any excited energy, any energy that might be keeping us from slowing down. Foot massage, getting in touch with the earth element, the roots of our bodies, having gratitude for all that our feet do. That forward fold, really softening the heart, the back of the neck, and the throat, really honoring that humbling action in our crown, in our third eye space. And now sinking back into this element of water, this element that exists in the realm, the physical realm of the hips. Allowing that space to ebb and flow naturally with your breath. Release any need, any feeling in yourself that you might be trying to control the stretch. When we release tightness, we release control in a pose, sometimes we're able to experience it more fully. Sometimes we run into the realization that the control, the tightness we were holding before was protection, right? You may have been protecting a part of your body without even realizing it. In which case, see if you can bring in a prop or adjust in a way that you can honor that part of your body without needing to maintain effort around it. As much as possible, let your body relax. Let your breath just be as it's meant to be. Take your time coming back up. Maybe you roll to that front hip and extend that back leg and find yourself in a seat. Maybe there's a different transition calling for you here. Please follow it. Whether you're sinking into some stillness or flowing through some movement here, really going right into the present stream of consciousness with your breath, being with the body in this moment. Each movement, each inhale, each exhale, be with yourself. From here, we're going to get ready to go into our backs for a reclined bridge pose. This is going to be a thoracic bridge, so a heart opener, if you will. I like to get a couple little supports, but you could use some other things. I like to use my bigger pillow, my bigger support to really rest underneath my shoulder blades, trying to create the most amount of space across the front of my chest, the front of my heart, and then I'm going to use this other pillow to support my neck. Now some of you would like your head just to come all the way down to the floor. It really depends on the support you're using underneath your shoulders, underneath your back. And some of you might even use the books underneath your back. It really just depends on how this feels, how subtle, how extreme you want to feel the sensations here. You take your arms out to the side, or you could rest them on your rib cage, really tuning into that expansion, the contraction of the body with each breath. Relax and soften effort out of your face, your neck, your shoulders, your belly. Sink and soften into your hips. Whether your legs are extended or maybe it's feet on the floor, knees bent, maybe feet are touching and knees are open into a butterfly. Let this be your expression, your fulfillment of inner sensations. You're letting your body really move into the best version, best shape for your body right now. Being present and being attentive and mindful and kind. Finding stillness here. Just at that halfway point, if you're feeling good where you are, you can stay here. If you want to explore just a slightly different feeling in the shoulders and the upper body, you can just take your arms to frame your ears, whether the arms are wide or the arms are a little closer to your head. Take time to find a version here that really keeps the space, keeps the expansion at the center of the chest, the sternum, the collarbones maybe. Allow all effort, any outstanding, unnecessary effort to just wash away here. Arms are overhead. Take your time bringing the arms back down by your sides. Sliding your feet to the floor nice and slow if they're not already. And just preparing to roll to one side. You might roll completely off your pillow. You might just roll kind of to the side of it. Doesn't quite matter exactly. Just finding a comfortable space for your body to exist. Watching the feeling, the sensations disperse and settle. Allowing your breath naturally to slow. And as gently as you can, removing the props from underneath your chest. Oh, maybe you keep the neck pillow if you like it. We're going to bring in our books or our blocks, whatever kind of support you're going to use that you set aside from earlier. I just want you to plant your feet underneath your knees, pick up your hips, just enough to slide it underneath, and you should have your blocks really underneath the pelvis. They shouldn't be pressing into your spine. Should be a little bit more connected to your glutes, to your butt muscles than your lower back. Than your lower back vertebrae. You should feel this really across the sacrum, across the pelvis and the lower back. You can stay right here if this feels good, just getting this sense of settling, heaviness in the hips and the belly. A little less effort, a little less work. If you like here, and this is really up to you, you can start to extend your heels up towards the ceiling. Notice I like to keep my knees a little bent here. Some people like to straighten the legs out all the way. It really depends on the orientation of your back and your pelvis, on whatever support you've chosen. This is a variation on legs up the wall. This is a pose that really just like takes the energy out of energetically, it allows the energy that we typically use to walk around and interact with the world and be very active and out and moving. Allows that energy to kind of settle and slowly kind of tuck into a place where we can even put that energy to bed, literally and metaphorically, allowing that energy to kind of trickle down the legs, coming back into the lower belly, into the hips, into the torso, so that throughout the night, throughout the time that we choose to plug into ourselves and restore our bodies, restore our digestion and our brains, and just kind of find a total restoration throughout the system and the organs. That energy that we've been using all day to move around is now aiding in that restoration. I don't want you to stay here longer than, I don't want you to stay here too long. It's not meant to be a real active shape. It's one reason why I keep my knees bent. I'm really letting my pelvis relax here, letting my low belly and my lower back relax. Just give it one or two more breaths here if your legs are up. And when you feel ready, you can slowly bend the knees, bringing the feet back down to the earth, feeling that connection, that reconnection down into the earth. Push down evenly through the feet, rising the hips up just enough to slide that support out from underneath you. And then slow as honey, let the lower back and the tailbone return back to the earth. Relax the belly and the back muscles. You might even experience this feeling of a natural curve coming back into the lower back. Rock the hips if you like, the knees a little side to side.
If you're using this video just to relax before you take a nap, or maybe relax before you head back into your day, you're welcome to give it a couple more breaths, a couple more moments right here in stillness. Hands can rest on the heart or the belly or the hips or by your sides. Thank yourself for going through this process to unwind and really have gratitude for it and bear witness to all the things that your body can do, all the different states of being, all the different elements that we travel through as we work with the energy in the body. Thanking and honoring the energy, the divine connection of your crown chakra. Thanking and honoring your third eye energy, your intuitive chakra. Thank the truth and the wisdom and the divine vibration and expression of your throat, the loving wind, heart, and outreaching energy of your heart center, the fire and the simmer, the action of your upper belly, the solar plexus, the fluidity, the versatility of your lower body, your low belly, your pelvis, your hips. And then really thanking that earth energy, that almighty, all flowing, all loving earth mama energy that is really here to hold us all. Thank her, thank yourself. If and when you feel ready to transition from your back, you can just roll to one side. Maybe you're heading off to brush your teeth, or maybe you're ready to go right into bed. Maybe you're already in bed. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you, Susan, for making the request for this class. Let me know what you think, everyone. Big love. Namaste.